3, 4.
Contract, so the dealer makes a commission. So there's no hiding that. That's a profit center for the dealership. But aside from that, there's still an opportunity for the consumer to get a lot of value. And if you've ever had a car that has broken down after the factory warranty, and you get hit with a $1,100 bill or $900 bill after you just paid $800 worth of tires 2 weeks before, Murphy's Law. These things seem to always happen in odd moments. So I think there's a lot of value, but I think the consumers have to make that choice for themselves. But if you don't have the information, you can't make the choice. Exactly. So that's what we're talking about now. Ben, you and I were talking a lot about some things off the air, and I thought, man, what you were saying made a lot of sense in terms of what a customer needs to look at when we talk about the fine print. And we talked about, there was 4 things that you thought were critical. And I know we talked a little bit about exclusionary, and one of the points was what's in it. So I think you can kind of hit that and kind of go over your 4 points that when a customer's looking at a vehicle service contract, you really identified 4 things they really need to be watching for. And again, I urge everybody to be a fan at Louie Herron Toyota, because everything we're talking about is recorded. So you can go back and listen, because I know you may be in your car, you may be sitting in an office somewhere, obviously taking notes may not be one of your number one priorities, but this is important stuff. And again, it'll save you money to add value to your purchase. So Ben, the 4 things, and when you're talking about service contract and fine print, what are they looking for? What do they need to know?
Louie, great point. One of my first things that we like to point out is what's covered. That's really important. So right. A mechanical breakdown, most people don't know what that is. And a mechanical breakdown occurs usually from wear and tear of any part that's on that car, whether it be your engine, your transmission. So those parts, first and foremost, are designed to wear out.
Right.
So mechanical coverage caused by wear and tear is important when you're looking at the fine print. Make sure that fine print does not have a depreciation factor in the fine print. What that means is the VSC company may pay partial repairs or replacement costs based on the mileage. So
you're going to have to say that one more time for the people that listen. This is very important if you're listening. This is really, really important stuff. One more time.
So some VSCs will have a depreciation factor, which means the vehicle service contract company may pay partial repairs or replacement cost based on the mileage.
Right. So if we stop there, for those that are listening, what he's saying is if you buy a vehicle service contract and think you are covered, oh no, I got a warranty, I'm good because I paid for it. This is where he's saying, hold up, be very, very careful, because it could only pay a portion. Yep. Okay, and so that's what he's referring to. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Louie, is that like when we were talking a few weeks ago about tires? You buy an 80,000 mile tire, you bring it in, and it has 40,000 miles on it. You're not getting a brand new tire.
No.
You're going to get,
or you're going to get the credit of what's remaining on that tire. That's correct.
And that's kind of what we're talking about now.
That's correct.
Yes, that's very similar. So you want to be able to go into that business office and understand the fine print. I know most of the time Chip mentioned that, I just want to go in, my deal is done, and I want to get out.
Right.
You may want to take a couple 5 minutes to flip the back of the contract over and read the fine print. I'm a big proponent of working with folks like Louie Herron's managers and making sure that they're slowing down and making sure that we're identifying these fine prints to the customer so they know exactly what they're getting. Number 2, I want to point out is how do you make a claim? A claim should be very easy to make. An 800 number usually is identified in your contract, and you should be able to get someone in the claims department within a minute or two. And you should not have to leave a message for them to call you back.
Right.
So that vehicle service contract company should be well established enough to have multiple claim representatives to pay your claim when you need it.
Right.
Okay. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is make sure that you understand when you're buying a vehicle service contract that you have an obligation as a consumer. You actually have to maintain the car to the manufacturer's specifications.
Right. And let's stop right there. Whether you do business at our dealership or our dealership in Wisconsin, if you're going to buy a vehicle service contract, there's not a contract provider, there's not an assurance group around, there's not an insurance company out there that will let this slide by. Everyone is liable to do only what the manufacturer is saying that you have to do in the owner's manual. You have it laid out. So if a dealer offers extra services, those aren't required to facilitate getting a claim paid. Don't worry about those. Now, those may be needed depending on the car and what's going on. You follow what I'm saying, Chip?
Yep.
However, do not disregard because the first thing they're going to do is look at the service history before any claim is paid. The first thing they do is say, okay, great, pull the records. Yep. Well, they've only been here twice, but they've been to Jiffy Lube 3 times. They had one-time service on a trip and floor. If it's an extensive service claim, they're going to want that documentation. So it's very, very important. Again, not to labor on that. I mean, a lot of people probably realize you can't, replace an engine and never change the oil. I mean, obviously they realize they're liable for that, but they don't think about those. I think it's a good point, Ben.
Great. And the last piece of this is, making sure that when you're in that business office, that you're getting the coverage level that is needed. Because there are many different levels, as Louie mentioned prior, and you want to make sure that you're going to be covered based on your driving habits, mileage. You want to be covered based on how long you're going to keep the car. So looking at the terms and the coverage levels of that vehicle service contract is kind of rounds off that 4th item that I think is extremely important to any VSC product that's in the marketplace.
Cool. Well, we're gonna hit a lot more, but again, just as you stop, as we get back to some music and you're thinking about maybe switching, hang with us, because when you think the warranties and some of the products are not that worthy for you and you don't need them, just keep in mind the front suspension $600, electrical system $600, a transmission overhaul $3,500, an engine's $4,500, air conditioning's almost $900. Cooling system $600. So I mean, these are little things that kind of go that you may need to hang tight and listen, because there's more information coming that's not related to vehicle service contract. We're going to get some other options as well when we come back from the break.
All right, very good. Chip Lyness, Louie Herron from Louie Herron Toyota, and Ben George with the Automotive Assurance Group. It's the Auto Show. If you'd like to join the conversation, 706-453-4140. *1039 if you got an AT&T wireless phone.